Stating that company X's brand new smartphone is the best they've ever built is very unsurprising these days because they're supposed to get better and better every year. It's taken me a little while to review the Galaxy S8 here that I've got in my hand from Samsung, and I think that's probably a good thing because I loved the Galaxy Note 7 last year, gave it a rave review, and then of course we all know what happened there. So I've had this, and I've been testing it, and I've been traveling with it, taking lots of photographs with it. I've also been charging it and letting the battery run out a lot, and I can tell you that it doesn't get too hot. I haven't had any charging issues with this thing, and I think that Samsung has been incredibly diligent with testing its battery performance out of the brand new smartphones that they've got here. It's a beautiful device. It's got Gorilla Glass 5 on it. Obviously, one of the big deals with this thing, it doesn't have a home button. There's no physical button on here, which is one of the things that's predicted for the new iPhone this year. And so what that has done is created this tremendous screen real estate on this phone, and you know, it's really crazy to see these stretched out YouTube videos, and when you're looking at trailers of movies and stuff like that, you know how they have the black bars on them and they just fill up the whole screen. It's awesome. And you can press on buttons within the software to kind of zoom in a little bit, but because it's got the black bars, everything sort of fits in a little bit nicer, and it really does take up a big chunk of the screen real estate in some elegant ways. Games can also look a little wider and cooler there, although some of them you know, cut off the top and bottom of the screen a little bit as it's trying to deal with this brand new aspect ratio that's on this phone. But the one thing that I will say, I'm not using the plus size, I'm using the regular sized S8, and I'm a plus in my iPhone use, and that's definitely for the most part a two-hand experience. So I've actually been really enjoying the fact that I can use the Galaxy S8, the sort of standard one, with all of this screen real estate. And when I compare the two phones, my iPhone 7 Plus with this, it almost looks like the same amount of information is on the screen. Obviously, this has got a super high resolution 2960 by 1440 display that looks great on the 5.8-inch screen, and the colors are fantastic. It's an AMOLED display and it looks beautiful, and there's all kinds of pro adjustments on here, which, you know, when you're watching videos, you can make them look better. When you're looking at graphics and stuff, you can make them look better, which all take a little bit of a hit on your battery life and performance, but you know what you see, the resulting imagery that's coming off your phone is breathtaking. Let's be honest here. It has 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of onboard storage that could be expanded with the use of a micro SD card. There's only one camera lens on the back of this phone. I can't believe that we say that now about phones, as we're disappointed that there's only one camera lens. It doesn't have the 2 camera lenses like my iPhone 7 Plus, which allows me to take, you know, these cool portrait shots and create that diffusion, that you know, soft focus background stuff. But you can do that with some software effects with the images that you take on this phone, and frankly I've been very impressed with the images that I've been taking on this phone. I've been taking a lot of photographs. The front facing camera is 8 megapixels, the rear is 12, and they both give you the ability to shoot at 4K at 30 frames per second, which is pretty good. They've got crazy filters on here as well, so you can add little bunny ears and things like that. That's all built in to the photo software, and of course you can augment this thing with all kinds of apps that you download that allow you to do all kinds of crazy things. And then you can also do rotating photographs and stuff like that, so you can actually use the phone and pivot around like this and look at an image or look at a scene from a bunch of different angles, which is kind of rad. I really didn't like the fact that the fingerprint scanner is right next to the camera lens, and it's always causing you to accidentally touch that camera and getting it dirty. And because it has all kinds of you know, fantastic Google integration, if you're a big Google user, if you're a YouTube user, if you're using the Google software like crazy, it's very easy to, you know, get integrated, and there's just, it just feels like you're kind of at home in the Google universe. Samsung does have its own software built into this thing as well, which kind of bloats it a little bit, but they've definitely become a lot smarter and a lot stronger in this category. So the software that they do add doesn't get in the way so much. I actually like their game launcher, which is pretty rad. It kind of creates a separate sort of folder system for all the games to kind of be stuck in there. And then the game launcher gives you tools like being able to record some of your progress right to the hard drive, and then you can upload that to YouTube later. Now, YouTube Gaming also allows you to record stuff and also stream directly to YouTube right from its app as well, which is amazing. And you can use this as a streaming tool and stream directly to YouTube if you want to do something like that, which is pretty fantastic as well. One of the pieces of software that Samsung has introduced into this thing is an AI assistant called Bixby. They actually gave the phone a dedicated button on the side, which is right beside the volume rocker, which is kind of crazy. So you're going to tap that Bixby button when you want to turn the volume up or down on the phone a lot, just to get used to it. Bixby works a little bit like Siri, a little bit like the Google Assistant. I've been a Siri person because I'm on the iPhone for the most part, and I do find myself using these assistants every once in a while, but they're not perfect, they're not great. Bixby also has Bixby Vision, which allows you to point the camera lens on the phone at different things, and it will try to give you information about a specific store or restaurant or something that you're in front of. It will translate, using Google technology. I just find it interesting that they put an AI assistant right beside the one that's pre-built, because this is an Android phone. You just hold down on the created home button. That's the thing about this. There's no physical home button, so they create a home button, but you hold down on that home button and you've got your own built-in Google Assistant, which is kind of nuts that Samsung is kind of spending all of this resource to create apps for its phones that already exist because it's an Android licensed device. But, maybe Samsung's got some, long-term play with all this stuff. Maybe they're going to deviate. Maybe they're going to create their own sort of, universe. I mean, clearly these are very, very popular devices. They go up against the Apple infrastructure every year. There's a lot of sort of back and forth in terms of features and quality. Certainly design-wise, this looks better than any current iPhone that's on the market right now. It's a beautiful phone. I do suggest that if you get this sucker, that you get a case for it, because it's a slippery phone. It's got the curved edges all the way around it. You're going to want to pick up and play with this thing, but just be prepared for the thing to kind of slide and slip around in your hand, because it's all curved and gorgeous, glass and metal, and it just looks so beautiful. You can also slide out from the edge of the device, and you've got that extra cool sub menu. That's always been one of my favorite things about Android, is how customizable the software is, and then Google adds stuff and Samsung adds stuff, so you can kind of make this interface and the sort of the universe of your phone and shape it any way that you like to, and that's pretty damn rad. It's not the phone that is going to make me switch over to Android, mostly because I've got this history of being an iOS user, and I've got a lot of software and a lot of music and a lot of other things and movies and stuff that are tied to my iOS accounts. But this is about as close as it's come. This is a gorgeous, irrefutably, robust and very cool phone that any Android fan is going to, be all over. Of course, there's all kinds of extra additions, like the VR capabilities with the extra Gear VR. You can slide this in and get into some VR stuff. You can also shoot VR and utilize the Samsung phone. There's that new DeX kind of computer interface that allows this to turn into a bit of a desktop solution. This is, another incredible device from Samsung. I think this one's going to have, a lot more staying power than the Galaxy Note 7. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that Note line in the future. But yes, this is the best phone that Samsung has ever made. And it's also the best Android phone that I've ever played around with. I love the Galaxy S8. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.